got a chance to see Stephen King's The Monkey. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zankum, an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. So yeah, let's talk about The Monkey. So The Monkey is one movie that I did miss in the theater. I didn't get a chance to see it, and I was not a fan of Longlegs, which was also written and directed by Osgood Perkins. So going to see another movie only within months of the previous one, of which I really didn't care for, I was like, do I really want to go? So I ended up seeing it. So when it popped up on streaming, I'm like, yeah, let's give it a shot. I am a fan of Theo James. I think he is an underrated actor for sure. I liked him quite a bit in Underworld. He was in Awakening and Blood War, so he was actually in 2 of the Underworld movies. I'm a big fan of those. He was also in The Gentleman, which I did not see. I think I watched like 1 episode of that. He was in a couple episodes of Downton Abbey. He's only been acting for like 15 years, but he has a really good look. And then I know he's in White Lotus. I think he was in half a dozen episodes of White Lotus. I haven't seen that show either. So I really haven't seen much that he's done, I guess, because he's got a pretty big resume, but half the stuff, or maybe 3/4 of the stuff, I haven't seen. But anyway, I do think that he is, I think he's a decent actor, and I think that he deserves more roles. I saw that he did too the Time Traveler's Wife that they turned into a television show. That's one of my favorite movies, and that show, they should not have made a show out of that movie. There's nothing in there besides the time travel stuff. The whole thing is that it's secular with the main female actor, with the main character. Taking just the time travel stuff out, it just doesn't work. And apparently it didn't. I think it only got 1 season and that was it. It didn't deserve to exist. But anyway, this is I think it's just by a story by Stephen King. And I actually was pleasantly surprised with it. Again, I was giving it a shot. I thought that the mechanical work with the creation of the monkey itself, I thought was pretty good. I liked how the drumstick twisted in the hand. I liked that the mouth was able to move, and that you were literally waiting for the drumstick to drop about who it chose to die. So this has Final Destination vibes. Although that the kills are not elaborate. Some of them are, and some of them aren't. Like in the beginning, we do have a semi-elaborate death where we have the flashback. But for the most part, they're not elaborate, but it does have those kind of vibes anyway, where it's like accidental deaths, and that's how the monkey kills people. So it's not really blamed on anything supernatural, whatever else. It looks like it's a natural death. And that's what gives me the Final Destination vibes. But the reason I like this film, and I'm not saying it's great by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's a little bit, better than average. But I like the fact, and I think this is where people had problems with it, was that it was a mixture between comedy and horror, right? So you don't really, I don't know if it sticks that fine line well enough where you don't really take any of it seriously. So on Rotten Tomatoes, this was like, a 55% squash. So it's definitely not recommended on Rotten Tomatoes for sure. And that was like the audience score. So the audience didn't like it. I think the reviewers had a a higher score than the audience did, which is unusual. Uh, but I think that's where the problem is, was that people went to see a horror movie and instead they got really a horror comedy, and I'm not sure that landed with a lot of people. For me, I was okay with it. I was okay with kind of skirting that line back and forth and back and forth. And it's really about, and I was surprised by the fact that most of the film, or like at least a third, if not half of the film, was about the kids. And we don't see, Theo James until way later on in the film. And I was surprised that that was chosen that way, and that may have been another problem for people, is that they were looking for Theo James as an adult to be in the film, and we don't see him until halfway through the movie. But I like the relationship. I like him having the break the fourth wall type of voiceover, saying how much of his brother's a dick. I didn't realize that they were twins until later on, when Theo James shows up. Like, oh wow, and I got to look back because the kids look completely different from one another. So I don't know how that works. I got to look at the actors to see if they was the same actor, because if it was the same child actor, whoo, he did a really, really good job. I got to say, he looked completely different with those glasses on. So Christian Convery played young Hal, and Colin O'Brien, I think it was Petey. I don't know. If it was, really, really good job. Really good job. So it should say young Hal and then another name next to it, right? I think his name was Chris or something like that. But I like that, and I like that the brother was a complete dick. And the storyline is their relationship. The storyline is all about their relationship and how toxic it is. But then on the other side of the coin, it's also about what happens to them as adults and how one blames the other. And that's what the entire movie is based on. Anyway, before we keep going, remember to give me that like, give me that thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. Share this video out there. And also remember, too, that I'm a writer myself. Check out my stuff on Amazon.com. Just type my name in, or there's a link in the description below. You'll see my 4-novel quadrilogy, Destiny Aurora. It's an epic space. So if you like Star Wars, Star Trek, Guardians of the Galaxy, you're going to love this one. Very eclectic crew. Lots of adventure. And it was made into a board game, an RPG, a graphic novel. It's on Audible, so if you want to just hear it, I have 2 voices. I have a male and female voice that are doing their own characters, so it's really more like a radio show. You're going to love it. Also, number 2, that I did a YA fantasy novel, so if you like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Lord of the Rings, it has magic in it, it has dragons, it has griffins, it has all this stuff in it. And I think you'll like that one as well. It's called Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. And I'm going to have to continue that one someday. And then my new comic, Fairy Tales of Terror, did very well on Kickstarter. I have launched late pledge on that. We have Psycho Cinderella. We have Killer Captain Hook. They're being chased around New York City by Neverland's Tiger Lily. You can just go to fairytalesofterror.com, or there's a link in the description below if you want to pick up a copy of that. All right, so let's jump back into the movie. Fan of Theo James, but not so much a fan of Tatiana Maslany. So she plays the kid's mom in this, Lois. And I was a big fan of hers in Orphan Black. I thought she was playing all these different roles. I thought she was incredibly talented. I thought she was going to be going all sorts of places with the fact that she was so talented. And then she made the choice of doing She-Hulk. And ever since she did She-Hulk, I cannot look at her the same way. She physically makes me sick. And I was not a fan of hers in there. I wish it was somebody else. Not that she did a bad job. It's just that it's kind of like Rachel Zegler, where it's just like, I think she's also talented, but I can't watch her. So most people won't feel that way, but it was good that she had glasses on part of this and stuff like that, so I can kind of look past her. But I think her career's pretty much done anyway. But this budget was only $10 million, where it's interesting. This one was $10 million when his first film, Longlegs, was $25 million. That movie ended up going on to make almost $100 million. So with a budget of $10 million, that's what it cost to make this film, it went on to make $63 million. So Osgood Perkins is on a roll, man. He's on a roll. And he's made 2 films, and both of his films have made money. And for the cast that he got for $10 million, I think it's pretty good. So Theo James, which apparently he's not very expensive. Tatiana Maslany, she's probably working for scale at this point. She's just probably taking anything she can get. Adam Scott was in 1 scene. Elijah Wood, one, I think he was in 2 scenes. So yeah, it was like, and then Osgood Perkins played Uncle Chip, I think, for 1 scene as well. So he did the Hitchcock thing where he appeared for a little short stint. But anyway, this movie is about a killer monkey, and it's stuck in their family. And when they twist the key in the back to make the monkey move, when it does the final drum beat, that's when it chooses someone to die. The person that turns the key is safe. They never get killed. Which also I was very questioning, because the brother was telling, I think his name was Chris, I'm not sure, was telling somebody else to turn the key. So apparently he was okay with dying, because it could possibly have been him every time that key was turned. Again, it's a battle of brothers, and the way they made up was kind of weird. But again, I didn't take this thing seriously. You can't take it seriously. So I really didn't nitpick the plot and how the reactions of certain things were, because I think it was basically a spoof. So if you go into this thinking it's a spoof, then I think you're better off. But but I thought it was entertaining, and I thought that it was shot pretty well, and I thought the acting was pretty good. So, I mean, I don't know what else you possibly want. It's not a deep movie at any sense, and if you overthink it, it doesn't make any sense at all. And that's why I'm thinking it's just over the average line. So, but if you're a fan of horror and you just want to be entertained, then I definitely recommend the film. I'm going to give this movie a 6. Again, slightly over average. And yeah, if you want to check it out, it's on streaming. It doesn't cost you anything. And even if I had paid for this or got it through my A-list, because I'm a part of the AMC A-list, I wouldn't have been disappointed. I thought it was okay. So anyway, better than Tron as far as I'm concerned. I didn't think it was as good as The Conjuring, though. I know The Conjuring was not very high on my list of the regular Conjuring movies, of the list of ranking of Conjuring movies, but Conjuring was still better than this one for sure. But good for him. I like when new voices of horror come in. Anyway, remember to give me that like, give me that thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. Share this video out there. Remember, too, to check out my stuff on Amazon. Go to Amazon.com and just type my name in. There's a link in the description below as well. And remember, too, to jump into Fairy Tales of Terror before I start eliminating certain covers and things to that effect. Go to fairytalesofterror.com, or there's also a link in the description below. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a good one. Have an awesome week. All right, bye-bye.